Hey everybody, baseball season is live and well right now. We are fully about 2 weeks, maybe 2.5 weeks in the MLB season, deep into the college baseball season, getting closer to the College World Series, getting closer to the softball College World Series. It is April 13th. Welcome to another episode of the Power Alley Podcast. We're connected to Spinnable Sports Network. You can find us on all podcast platforms as well as the Spinnable Sports YouTube channel. I'm Fresh. You can find me on Twitter/X at SS_2Fresh. You can also find the Power Alley Podcast on Twitter/X at Power Alley Pod. I'm a contributor to SpinnableSports.com and a co-host of our flagship podcast, the Irrational Confidence Podcast. You can find that on Twitter/X at IR Confidence Pod. If you're looking for anything more, you can follow at Spinnable Sports on Twitter/X and of course SpinnableSports.com. As we dive into this Power Alley Podcast episode, like I said before, we're recording as of April 13th, so it's Monday, April 13th. Season started mid to last week of March. We're about 2.5 weeks through. Roughly, everybody's played about 15 games or so, somewhere around there. Things we're going to go over this episode. Just look back at the first couple of weeks of the MLB season, how things have kind of shaken out. Players who are hot off to rough starts, off to good starts, teams off to good starts, off to bad starts, some oddities. We're going to talk about some ABS. Now the challenge being at play. We've seen some unique elements there. You're starting to see a sample size that's playing out. And then looking at our updated college baseball top 25 as of April 13th. First thing really, diving in is looking at about 15 games in. Look at standings. We got a lot of, I think it's great. It's a lot of mediocrity, a lot of 500 ball play, a lot of guys, a lot of teams just muddling around. You start to see maybe they're not fully crisp yet. They're not fully ready to rock and roll for opening days, but the competitive nature right now of MLB so far this season is pretty intense. You look at the AL East. Braves, Yankees, Orioles, all 8-7, tied for first. Blue Jays and Red Sox, both 6-9, 2 games out. You look at the Central. The best records in all of baseball are the Twins and the Guardians at 9-7. Then you have the Royals and Tigers at 7-9. The White Sox 6-10, only 3 games out of first. And even 6-10 through the first 15, 16 games, they're still playing decent baseball. It's not like they are 2-14. Look at the AL West. Rangers, Athletics, both 8-7. Angels 8-8. Mariners 7-9, and the Astros in the middle of a 7-game losing streak are 6-10. And we'll talk about the Astros in a second. The National League. Braves 10-6, being the National League, playing really, really well. Marlins are 8-8. These Nationals are both 7-8, and Mets are 7-9 in the midst of a 5-game losing streak there. NL Central, Pirates at 9-6, Reds at 9-7, Cardinals at 8-7, Brewers at 8-7, Cubs at 7-8. Just right there. There's no one's running away with it and hiding right now. There's a lot of competitive baseball, even out in the West. Yes, the Dodgers and Padres are really, really good. Dodgers have the best record in baseball, 11-4. Padres at 10-6, and I do want to correct myself. Guardians and Twins best in the AL, not all baseball. Diamondbacks right there at 9-7. Rockies at 6-10, and surprisingly, the Giants at 6-10 as well. But it's not like a team has been absolutely horrible and a team's been absolutely just world beaters outside of the Dodgers. They are just the Dodgers. They're plus 35 run differential. It is who it is. They're focused on that, just going for the three-peat. And if they can stay healthy, they'll be just fine. But overall, you're seeing a lot of just even baseball, wins and losses. Nobody's separating. You're seeing some ebbs and some flows, but nothing too crazy. As of record right now, Astros in the 7-game losing streak, Yankees, Mets, and Brewers all in 5-game losing streaks. Four of those teams were dominant, a week ago. If I was recording a week ago right now, they'd be the best of the best, top 4. They've all had a rough week. It happens. It's baseball. You move forward. It's a long season. It's still April 13th. We haven't even gotten to tax day. So a lot to come, but you're starting to see just a lot of teams starting to get, feeling out. Some players off to hot starts. Will that sustain? Some people in slumps. Will they eventually break out of it and get themselves comfortable? They're historic players who have slow starts. And before you know it, they start just breaking. It's good to see Yordan Alvarez starting to find his bat after being hurt last year, only playing 45 games or so. Starting to feel that swing. The team is struggling, but he is starting to get back in that groove. And that's kind of what you're starting to see. Guys, who's going to peak and who's going to valley, who's having success. And usually around this time of year, it's some of the names you don't expect who are off to intriguingly fast starts. Some of those might be, for this case, Angels pitcher Jose Soriano. Nobody really knew that name did not pop off the radar. So far, 4 wins and leads Major League Baseball with an ERA of 0.33, and 31 strikeouts. Out of nowhere, a kid's pitching phenomenal. Will it last? Who knows? But he's got the Angels playing some decent baseball, 8-8 through the first 16 games. He has been the catalyst, and that's what they've always needed. Angels have been struggling to find pitching. Can he help them? The Dodgers, with that loaded lineup, Andy Pages, 429 batting average, 17 RBIs, and 24 hits, leads Major League Baseball in all three categories. Cardinals outfielder Jordan Walker, been waiting for him to be a superstar. Past couple years, he's kind of been up and down, never getting a swing, a lot of expectation, never delivering. Well, right now, he leads Major League Baseball with 7 home runs. Chandler Simpson, very, very fast kid for the Rays, plays left field. Kind of shocking the world right now. Second in MLB batting average, batting .411. Second in Major League Baseball with 23 hits, and second in Major League Baseball with 7 stolen bases. He's known for being fast and stealing bags, but getting the hits and the batting average means he's getting on base and trying to find a groove. If he gets on, he's going to turn a single into a triple. Rays catcher Baldwin and Angels shortstop Zach Neto lead all Major League Baseball in runs scored with 15. Funny on the other side, notables who haven't scored a run so far this season, and all have had to play at least 8 games. Guardians Bo Naylor, Brewers Brian Mountcastle, and Reds Nathaniel Lowe. All three of them have not scored a run so far, and they've played at least 8 games so far this season. A couple other notables who've only scored 1 run so far through the season. Padres Nick Castellanos, 12 games, 1 run scored. Reds Brian Hayes, 14 games played, 1 run scored. And the biggest shocker of all, Royal shortstop, Mr. Team USA shortstop Bobby Witt Jr., 16 games, 1 run scored. He can't. He's basically had to do it by himself. He's not hitting a home run. He's not scoring. Some pitchers who have gotten off to a little rough start so far this season. Miles Michaelis, maybe the sun has found instead of him as a starter. 17 earned runs allowed so far. Heinz Logan Webb, 14 earned runs allowed so far. Rangers from Nathan Eovaldi, 13 earned runs allowed so far. Phillies, Jesus Luzardo, 12 earned runs so far. Mariners out starting pitcher Logan Gilbert, 11 earned runs so far. And Orioles, Chris Bassett, 11 earned runs so far. So maybe they will get it turned around when the weather starts warming up. But if you're getting shelled when it's cold, probably not going to do very well. Unless you get a better grip on that baseball. The ball's going to start flying a little bit more. You got to keep that ball down, keep it in the ballpark. Talking about teams off to hot starts and teams and players off to bad starts. The Astros are a conundrum. Astros lead MLB, lead all of baseball in runs scored. They are second in batting average and they're second in OPS. That offense is high. It's just destroying. They're getting on. They're scoring runs. They're pounding through. They have the worst ERA and the worst whip in baseball. They can't pitch, but they can hit. It's just one or the other. There is no happy medium. They're really, really good offensively and terrible pitching. They have some injuries, but they really struggle right now. And that 7-game losing streak is because that pitching staff is not getting out, so they're not being efficient, not getting the ball on the ground. Something has to give, but it is early. Talk about early season starts. Connor Griffin for the Pirates, #1 prospect, comes up, signs a big deal, a lot of expectation. 18, 19-year-old kid, feels like the pressure's all on him. 9 games so far in his career. He's 3 for 20, 2 runs scored, no walks, 8 strikeouts, 1 double, 3 RBIs. It feels like he's kind of pressing. It's definitely not double or triple A, not high school ball, it's not travel ball, but he has to be on the field. He has to learn. And I totally understand that the Pirates playing. You got to play him every day. You got to keep sending him back out there. If you send him down to triple A, it's going to mess with him. You got to get this kid to at bats at the major league level for him to learn, because the expectations, he's not just another prospect. He is the future. Will Polsky sign a long-term deal in Pittsburgh? Who knows? But Griffin is the icon right now for the next 9 years. They've got to get him ready to go. And he has to get out there and play in that lineup. He's not batting 4th or 5th. He's batting 7th or 8th. Let him get it in that lineup. Let him get some, good at bats. Let him get comfortable and deliver. I have a feeling he's going to be just fine. Get to May, get to June. But I totally understand. And you can see him pressing, trying to deliver, the pressure on him to be the guy in Pittsburgh. It'll come eventually. He has skills, but you just got to let it sort of just evolve. But keep an eye on him. We all know he's not, hyped and he can follow it up. But it's going to take him some time. But middle of the year, I think May and June, you're going to start seeing him really ramp up and take off. Speaking of taking off, let's look at ABS. We were looking at this thing. How do we keep the umpires accountable in the strike zone? They went and did a remeasure all the players' height, so they have the true box out there that's going to line up the technology. How are we holding the umpires accountable? We're truly having a defined strike zone. How many times are people going to be challenged? Because you get 2. But if you get it right, you keep it. If you lose it, you're done. And it doesn't matter if it's the pitcher doing it, the catcher doing it, the hitter doing it. Your team has 2. So, looking at the strategy of it, is the manager saying, hey, I just trust my catcher. If you're the hitter, don't do anything. I'm trusting my catcher. I'd rather have my pitcher in my strike zone be defined. If you're getting something in the strike zone, figure it out. But I want my, what's that call? Is it up to the batter to make the decision? Are you letting them freelance, or you just let your catcher handle it? Or is the pitcher handling it? How's it going? But every team has their own strategy. But so far in the season, there have been some unique patterns. So if you follow at Power Alley Pod on Twitter /X, There's a great Twitter handle that I retweet a lot, I reference a lot. It's at Codified Baseball, at Codified Baseball, CODIFY Baseball, one straight through on Twitter/X. They are fantastic. They put out a few of these, and I'm going to use them. I'm going to give them all the credit in the world. Number of ABS challenges per game so far in the 2026 season through April 12th. 11 challenges in the game has happened twice. 10 challenges in the game between both teams has happened twice. 9 challenges in the game has happened 3 times. The sweet spot, I kind of skipped ahead, sort of give a general idea. 4 times the game, 49 games. 3 times the game, 51 times. So you're not getting as many challenges as we thought we were going to get. You're getting 3 to 4 a game, using them, very judiciously, being strategic about it. They don't want to blow it. They might need it late in the ballgame, so you're not trying to overuse it early. You let it play out. There has actually been one game where there were 0 ABS challenges. So you've seen the sweet spot 3 to 4 times. There's about 41 games have seen 5 challenges. That 3, 4, and 5 range is where we're seeing a lot of those games collectively across MLB right now, being that challenge aspect and really the repetitive nature. Not seeing people just say challenge, because number one, they've got to be really good and get them right. There's been certain umpires behind the plate that are a result of that. But for the most part, they're actually right about, hey, I'm trusting what I want to, call. I'm not going to waste my challenge. I'll make sure I use it, smart and efficiently. That 3 to 5 range is what's the most common so far in the season. In the same time frame, through April 12th, per Codified Baseball, 37,007 balls and strikes have been called. 37,007 balls and strikes have been called. 132 of those have been challenged. 106 of those have been overturned by ABS. That's 54%. Minor leagues right now are at 50%. Major league right now we're seeing a 54%, overturn rate. Majority of those are coming from the catcher who's making the tap. Not many times very rarely from the pitchers, and not as many from the hitters. The majority of them are coming from the catcher. Seeing that strike zone is set up. They know where the ball is at. And you expect to see that trend continue to build. Catchers making the challenge call, tapping their helmet for a strike or a ball, and rolling from there. Looking at runs scored, back to Codified Baseball, so far through April 12th, run differential. The Braves are plus 46. They lead Major League Baseball. 13 other teams have a plus run differential. Well, 12 others, total 13, have a plus run differential so far in the season. The Red Sox and Marlins are even. Same amount of runs allowed, same amount of runs scored. 15 teams have a negative run differential. The White Sox are the worst at minus 30, and shocking, the Blue Jays are just above them at minus 25. Means their pitching staff, Matt Scherzer's given up 11. They've gotten beat up a little bit, and they're not driving into the runs like they were last year. They're off to a real slow start. They're struggling. They may be coming off that high of losing in the World Series and being so close, but they're not playing like themselves so far in the first 2.5 weeks of the season. It's an interesting so far to the start of the year. You're seeing a lot of even baseball teams trying to feel each other out. Injuries have kind of played in, but that's normal. We always expect some guys on the injury list getting there, come out there for a couple of days. Weather's different. Guys get stretched out. World Baseball Classic really hadn't impacted negatively too many teams, but you're starting to see, as it warms up, you're going to start to see more and more come through. I think it's great for baseball. There's a lot of closely knit teams, still very, very even. You're going to see a lot of moving and shaking. Still early April. We have a long 5.5 months to go until we get to October for the playoffs. The Rockies showing up 6-10 is, you know what? Will they finish with 55 or 60 wins? Probably right around there. But 6-10, they're jump out the gate, at least playing some decent baseball. They're only minus 6 run differential. It means they're playing a little better. They're not getting shelled. And they're 6-10 on a 4-game losing streak. So you figure they were 6-6. They were 500 ball club the first 12 games of the year. On the other side, look at the Giants. Tony Vitello comes over from Tennessee. They spent a lot of money on that roster, that pitching staff. They are under delivering in every capacity. Chapman, Adames, Devers, Luis Rise, the outfield, Logan Webb and that pitching staff. There's a lot to be desired. 6-10, it's early. They're 3-7 at home. Where pitching should be giving them a boost. They're just not delivering. They're a team to keep an eye on. They have tons of talent, but there's a lot of dysfunction. And Tony Vitello needs to, can you put on the blame of a college coach coming directly from Tennessee to managing the big leagues? Does he have the respect of that clubhouse? Does he know how to manage the game at a different level? How's the bullpen in the rotation, set up? Is he on a learning curve? But in the end, you can have that say, oh, he doesn't know what he's doing. It's still a team full of professionals. It's still baseball. Your pitcher and your catcher should go out there and be able to execute. He's not calling the plays. Pitcher and catcher, the pitching coach are handling it. Line up, put your guys out there. Go out there, know the pitcher, and hit the ball. It's an easy game. It's a simple game, but there's a lot of dysfunction right now in San Francisco, and that division's already tough enough. You cannot fall very far behind for the wheels to fall off. The Mets 7-9 historic. Phillies are looking sluggish. The Nats at 7-8 come out of the sweep of the Brewers for the first time in a long, long time. Marlins at 8-8. Braves playing well, given their pitching staff has some injuries. They're 10-6 and slugging their way through it. Much better start than they were last year. Everyone will tell you that. Cubs and Brewers just 8-7, 7-8. Pirates and Reds like normal, off to great starts. Can they actually sustain? Can the two of those teams sustain? Can the Reds keep it going until Hunter Green potentially goes back to mid-year? Can the Pirates sustain with Skeens pitching at an elite level and getting that lineup going? The Pirates are +8 run differential. The Reds are -16 and 9-7. The Cardinals are -14 and they are 8-7. Brewers and Cubs are both plus run differentials, but their pitching staffs at times have looked a little sluggish. The Athletics, it's great to see them 8-7. Pitching was one thing that I kind of worried about, but their offense is starting to heat up. They're -2 run differential, but they are 1-5 in a row. They are feeling it. I thought that big time comeback when they had against the Astros. I went to extra innings last Sunday, Easter Sunday, it showed some life. They got shelled 11-0 the Saturday before. They came out there, went to extras, slugged it out with the Astros. The Astros have lost 6 in a row since that loss. They made 7 total. The Athletics have won 5 in a row. It's amazing what'll happen when you sort of get momentum and flip it one way or the other. They are who they are, but that line's still gonna have to show up, and so far it has with +7 run differential. Tigers +10, but their pitching staff is it's still cold there. They haven't gotten those going. Strubal's pitched well, but they haven't really fully got it figured out. Can the Twins keep it going at 9-7? It's early. I don't think that team has enough forces to keep it going, but it is early. The Blue Jays is the biggest shot for me. 6-9, -25 run differential, 2-8 in their last 10. Did they spend too much? Are they just feeling the effects of that World Series loss when they came so close? Something to keep an eye on as they move forward the rest of the season. But we are still only, 2.5 weeks into the year. A lot's coming, but some trends are out there, runs scored and all that fun stuff. One group that's getting closer to more of a tournament and a postseason is the college baseball setting. The road to Omaha is hot and alive right now. You get toward Memorial Day is selection Monday, Memorial Day. Conference tournaments usually that last week in May, and we are about 5 or 6 weeks away from there. A lot of baseball still to be played, but so far you're starting to see some teams separate. UCLA, USC, North Carolina, and Georgia Tech are the first teams to all have 30 wins. Usually, if you're a mid-major team, 40+ wins. 40 wins is usually a target to get in and be an at-large bid for the NCAA tournament, which, if you didn't know, is regional based. There are 16 sites. There are 14 to site. It's kind of how it plays out. You have to win your regional, go supers, and so on and so forth. UCLA looks really, really good. Georgia Tech just swept Florida State at home, and they did it. It was pretty impressive. We are seeing some good baseball played right now. Is it sustainable? And Georgia Tech and UCLA finish it. We'll find out. It's a long way to go, but right now we're gearing up. They're locks for the tournament. They're locks for a regional site, and we'll see what happens. It plays out from there. As of April 13th, my updated top 25 for the college baseball season so far: UCLA Bruins at number 1, Georgia Tech number 2, North Carolina 3rd, Georgia 4th, Texas 5. The reason why I had Georgia above Texas is because Georgia went to Austin and took care of business. Those two teams right there are fighting for first in the SEC regular season, but Georgia going to Austin and taking care of business is that tiebreaker. Oregon State at 6, Florida State at 7, Coastal Carolina at 8, Virginia Cavaliers at 9, Texas A&M at 10, USC at 11, Alabama at 12, Auburn at 13, West Virginia at 14, Oklahoma at 15, Arkansas at 16, Mississippi State at 17, Oregon Ducks at 18, Florida Gators at 19, Kansas Jayhawks at 20, UCF Knights at 21, Arizona State Sun Devils at 22, Southern Miss Eagles at 23, Boston College Eagles at 24, and the Ole Miss Rebels at 25. Big 12 has a nice little showing in here. Arizona State, UCF, Kansas, West Virginia, a lot of SEC, and that's all understandable. A lot of it, you have some decent ACC presence in there, especially at the very top. A lot of very, very, very good teams in the ACC, very top heavy, but solid ball across the board. The Big Ten, there's a reason why they went and got Oregon, USC, and UCLA. Helps them basketball wise, gives them a lot of different diverse, makes them relevant when it comes to baseball season. Michigan, Ohio State, we've seen Indiana have a good team here and there. Every team in the Big 12, in the Big Ten, has a baseball team except for Wisconsin. But when it comes to NCAA tournament, a couple teams make it in. Michigan has made it here and once. Maryland's had a good team every once in a while. Indiana has a good team. Nebraska has history. But going out and getting UCLA, USC, and Oregon gave them 3 very good baseball programs that have developed a lot of talent. And it has been, even though they're having a very, very good academic year, the 25 to 26 year, the Big Ten Conference is loading up and they're putting that NIL money to bit, to good use. And it shows what you can do when you can, instead of just using a brown paper bag and paying players, you can use corporations. Helps a lot. But those three programs are keeping the Big Ten relevant, and it's been helping them in women's softball. It's helping them in baseball. But they are relevant in the spring sports, and not just for hockey, not just for football, not just for men's and women's basketball. They are right there. And UCLA and USC, they are baseball powerhouses historically, and they are living up to it so far this year. Both those two teams are top three in runs allowed per game so far. And if you're getting 4 runs against those two programs, that's a miracle. They are not allowing them much. If you get 4, you've done something very impressive. So watch out for USC and UCLA pitching stats. They are lethal. And what matters when you get down the stretch, can your bullpen hold up? You're not always going to have your starters. You need that bullpen depth to get you through some of the tough innings, some of those tournaments, some of those regional sites and super regionals, those Johnny All stats. That's what matters. You can't always slug your way to a championship. You need to find a way to get some outs. And so far, those two pitching staffs are very good, along with Georgia Tech and North Carolina and others. It's a long season. These teams are very, very good. These rankings will change in about a month when I do my pre-conference tournament in the top 25. But so far, you're going to see a lot of SEC teams make the tournament. A lot of talented ACC squads. 12 is going to have a nice solid allotment, and you're going to have 3 very good Big Ten teams in this field making noise. We're 2.5 weeks into the Major League Baseball season. A lot of fireworks still left to go. Keep up with your teams. Hit up Power Alley Podcast on Twitter. Sit with us. Engage with us. We want to hear from you. Hit up SpinnableSports.com. Hit up Spinnable Sports YouTube channel. Right now, you'll find the 2026 live mock draft from the Irrational Confidence podcast on Spinnable Sports YouTube channel. The 5 of us go through all 32 picks, give our prediction on how the team will take that player, and at that certain selection with the teams. Dive into it. Give us your thoughts. Do you hate it? Do you agree? Who do you think will go higher? Who do you think will be a bust? We want to hear all about it. Hit us up anytime you can. Leave yourself in the comments. Hit us up on SpinnableSports.com, at Spinnable Sports on Twitter, IR Confidence Pod on Twitter, Power Alley Pod on Twitter, and of course me, my individual Twitter handle at SS_2fresh. The SS is for Spinnable Sports. And until next time, we'll talk to y'all later from the clubhouse. Bye, y'all.